Hello traders, and welcome to another exciting edition of our weekly XAUSD and GBPUSD trade analysis. Okay, so I'm excited to be here with you as we dive into the dynamic world of forex trading. So in today's video, we'll be dissecting the price action for XAUSD and GBPUSD, identifying key and potential levels on the charts, and discussing potential strategies for the week ahead.
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of our weekly forecast with CHEATCODE. So let's dive in. Right here on my screen is GBPUSD on the daily time frame. Remember, we always do the analysis from the daily time frame down to the 1 hour time frame. Remember, if you followed us for our last forecast, we were expecting price to get to a particular point before coming down, to respect this resistance zone, thereby turning it into its valid support before continuing to the upside or continuing downward, of which price is currently on the move. So right here on GBPUSD, since price is currently on an uptrend on the daily time frame and it has broken out of this resistance zone right here, so we'll be expecting the continuation to the downside on the daily time frame for price. We're expecting price to continue to the downside to either respect this resistance zone, thereby turning it into a valid support zone before continuing to the upside, or possibly breaking out of it and also giving us a confirmation before continuing to the next support zone just below. But on the flip side, if price decides to reverse from where it is, we're expecting price to continue upward to break out of this resistance zone, give us a confirmation before continuing to the upside, guys. So quickly we'll move over to the 4 hour time frame, so we can also look at other zones that we need to pay close attention to that. Alright guys, so this is the 4 hours time frame for GBPUSD. As you can see, there are other zones which are visible on the 4 hours time frame which were not very visible on the daily time frame, guys. So right here on the 4 hours time frame, I'll just zoom out here so we can see these zones that we've picked out on the 4 hours time frame. So guys, right here on the 4 hours time frame, you can see that other zones are very visible right here. So this is a very valid resistance zone. This is also another valid resistance zone. This is a valid resistance zone of which price has tested twice before breaking out of this support zone. So right here we'll be expecting price to continue upward on the 4 hours time frame to respect this support zone, thereby turning it into a very valid resistance zone before continuing downward to the next support zone. But on the flip side, if price decides to break above this resistance zone which we've marked out right here in the 4 hours time frame, we're expecting price to give us a confirmation before continuing to the upside to the next resistance zone just above. So right here on the 4 hours time frame, we're expecting price to continue downward by coming back to retest this support zone, thereby turning it into a very valid resistance zone on the 4 hours time frame before continuing downward to the next support zone. But on the flip side, if price decides to break above this resistance zone right here, we're expecting price to give us a confirmation much like a retest before continuing upward to the next resistance zone just above, guys. So we'll also move over to the 1 hour time frames, guys. So this is the 1 hour time frame on GBPUSD. As you can see, the zones we marked out on the 4 hours time frame are now very visible right here. We also mark out some zones on the 1 hour time frame which were not visible on the 4 hours time frame. This support right here, as you can see, guys, it's very visible on the 1 hour time frame, so we just mark it out and then change it to our desired color, guys. Right there, so as you can see, guys, we've picked out the very valid and key support zones that we need to be looking out for the coming week on the 1 hour time frame. So I'll just zoom in right here so we can get a full picture of what we are looking at right here on the 1 hour time frame. So you can see this is a very valid support. This is also a support zone that price has broken out from, and as you can also see, this price is currently on a downtrend and price has broken out of this support zone. We're expecting price to continue upward to retest this support zone, thereby turning it into a very valid resistance zone before continuing downward, guys. But on the flip side, if price decides to break above this support zone, we'll be expecting price to continue upward to respect this resistance zone, or possibly break out of that resistance zone to continue upward to the next resistance zone just above. Generally for GBP/USD, we expect some downward movement since price is already giving us a downward trend on the lower time frame, which is 1 hour time frame. So we still expect some downward movement from price, guys. So quickly we'll move over to the next pair, which is XAUSD, so we can also pick out some key zones, that's key demand and supply zones that we need to be looking out for the coming week, guys. Alright, so right here on my screen is XAUSD on the daily time frame, and as you can see, price has been on an uptrend on the daily time frame. Right here, price has been breaking out of some key resistance zones that we marked out for the past weeks. So if you followed us for our last forecast, you will discover that we're expecting price to break out of this resistance zone, thereby come back to retest it before continuing upward, of which price did just as we expected by breaking out of it, came back right here and retested before continuing to the upside. So for the coming week on XAUSD on the daily time frame, as you can see, price is ranging in between this resistance zone and this support zone right here. So we still expect a breakout from price. We expect a breakout from price from any of these zones right here. So as you can see, guys, this was a very valid resistance zone, of which price broke out from right here and then came back to turn it into a valid support zone right here. As you can see, price has currently been ranging in between these two zones, this resistance zone and this support zone right here on the daily time frame. So for the coming week, we'll be expecting price to continue downward, to respect this support zone right here. Continue downward to respect this support zone right here, or possibly break out of it, give us a confirmation before continuing to the next support zone right here. But on the flip side, guys, if price decides to continue upward from where it is, we're expecting price to either respect this resistance zone or possibly break out of it, give us a confirmation before continuing more to the upside, guys. So quickly, guys, we'll move over to the 4 hours time frame so we can also get some insight on some key zones that we need to be looking out for, guys, on the XAUSD. Alright, so this is XAUSD on the 4 hours time frame. As you can see, these are the two zones that we were looking at on the daily time frame, of which I said price was ranging in between. This is also the point where price broke out of this very valid resistance zone and then came here to turn it into a very valid support zone, guys. So as you can see, just like the daily time frame, price has been ranging in between these zones, these two zones right here, this resistance zone and this support zone right here. So I'll just quickly extend this support so we can mark out the zone. So right here on the 4 hours time frame, since price came down to respect this, price has been respecting this support zone for a while, and also price came down to respect it here before reversing to the upside. We're expecting price to continue to the upside, to either respect this support zone right here on the 4 hours time frame, or possibly break out of it to continue to the next zone, which is the resistance zone right here. But on the flip side, if price decides to break out of this zone, this support zone which it has been respecting, thereby reversing, we're expecting price to break it out of it, give us a confirmation before continuing to the next support zone, which is this support zone right here, guys. So quickly we'll move over to the 1 hour time frame so we can also gain some insights on key zones that we need to be looking out for, guys, on XAUSD. Alright, guys, so this is the 1 hour time frame on XAUSD. As you can see, zones that were marked out on the other time frame are now very visible and very clear right here. So the 1 hour time frame for XAUSD is not very different from the 4 hours time frame. As you can see, this is the support zone that we newly marked out on the 4 hours time frame. This is also the very valid resistance zone, and this is the support zone that price has been ranging in between for the past weeks, guys. So right here on my screen, as you can see, price came down, price has been respecting this support zone for a while. Price respected it right here and also respected it twice here. So the price also broke out of this support zone, came down to respect this zone right here. So for the coming week on XAUSD on the 1 hour time frame, we're expecting some upward movements for price to go up to respect this support zone, thereby turning it into a very valid resistance zone before continuing downward, or possibly breaking out of it, giving us a confirmation before continuing to the next resist zone, which is this resistance zone right here. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue downward, thereby breaking below this support zone, guys, we're expecting a confirmation, much like a retest, before continuing to the next support zone, which is this very valid support zone just right here. So generally for XAUSD, we still expect some movement to the upside for price to either come up on the 1 hour time frame to respect this support zone, thereby turning it into a very valid resistance zone before continuing downward, or possibly breaking out of it, giving us a confirmation before continuing to the upside to respect this resistance zone right here. But on the flip side, if price decides to break below this support zone, which it has been respecting for a while, we're expecting price to give us a confirmation before continuing downward, to respect this other support zone which has been holding for a while right here on the 1 hour time frame for XAUSD. So guys, that will be a wrap for this week's episode of our weekly forecast. Please do well to like and subscribe, and also turn on the notification to our YouTube channel so as to get notified on whenever we post our weekly forecast. And also do well to join our Telegram group. The link will be displayed on the description of the video below. We also offer other premium services on our Telegram channel, which I'm sure you would be interested in. So do well to check it out. See you same time, same channel, GM guys.